Hello, hello. Hey, look at you. You're on mute, just so you know. And I'm hoping, well, and it might just be the two of you, which is fine too.
I'm a couple minutes late. I hope the people can join. It's nice seeing you too, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping to see more of these awesome faces.
I know I'm gonna text some people. I've got Cami, Marilee. She sent out an email yesterday. Did you guys get the email?
Uh, I did get an email. I was thinking I got one today too, but
Yeah, I did. I got one for sure today. I think yesterday.
Let me just very quickly. They're gonna get a group text. I know Karen's not joining us because she's in Hawaii.
nice.
I know. Tara Snyder. Oh, here, there's two more people. So I'll get rid of Marilee. Tara. Krista. Hello, hello. Carmen. Us. Okay, I'm hating like this update on the Apple phone. It's trying to be really smart and it keeps like trying to change all my words and I'm like, stop it. Are you joining our post retreat call? Link is in the meeting notice. Okay, well, we're going to get started here in just a second.
And the meeting notice came from Sarah, if they're looking for your name.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
We're going to get started here
Putting
in
lipstick on.
seconds.
Hey, Debbie, just so you know, I'm going to be moving. So as I'm, but so if you see me moving,
So Marilee,
I can turn my video.
yeah, you're cutting out. Are you moving, like you're moving your house or I don't understand what you're saying. I'm
Shit.
sorry, because you cut out.
She's wiggling.
She's moving around.
That's okay. I'm going to be heading out the door to go teach a class. So I'll be listening in as I drive, all that jazz. So I'm here.
Perfect.
I just may turn my video
Okay.
off.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start. I did send a text to the rest of the folks. Sometimes you get emails and you get your head down and you're doing stuff and don't realize what time it is. So we'll see if I think Bethany works today, so she may not be joining us either, but okay, so I want to do a check-in. What I'd like to do is I want you to introduce yourself and what you do in this world. And I want to know one thing you're proud of in the 30 days since we had our retreat. And I don't mean proud of like, I'm proud of my grandson. I mean, like, what are you proud of yourself for?
I'll go. So
Okay, thank you, Amanda.
I knew you were going to ask a question to introduce ourselves. And I am still working on how to do that. So I have something here. It's a little long. So we'll go. Yeah. At Thriving Wellness Collective, I am dedicated to empowering individuals to embrace their full potential by promoting root health from the inside out and profound well-being through curated therapeutic massage and cultivate connection and renewal rooted in the beauty of nature on my strawberry farm. So that's those things together is how I serve the world and what I am proud of. A lot of things.
Good.
Yeah. I am really proud of where I'm at. So I have been with a mastermind this past year, and just some of and it's been since the Cast Your Vision retreat too. Um, a lot more confidence in talking to people about health and wellness, and some more posting and just talking to people about it in my office, just opening it up and just having more conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you pass it on to somebody.
Caitlin.
Oh my gosh.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
Thanks. I'm gonna introduce myself. I want to read my about from my LinkedIn. I'm gonna fess up that that's where this is from. And because I was attempting to edit it the other day, and I was like, oh man, I really need to rethink this. But I just think it'll be a good place to start, so I'm gonna share it.
Perfect.
It says, I have a range of expertise in the areas of counseling, mediation and conflict resolution, violence prevention and intervention, restorative justice, and nonprofit management. As a nonprofit leader, I apply a systems thinking approach to create change in the individual, family, organizational, community, and societal levels. I believe in listening and gathering information first, then finding ways to use our strengths and assets to solve our most pressing problems. I integrate client-centered and skill-building approaches, as well as motivational interviewing and mindfulness techniques to empower my clients to change the things in their life that they want to change. In my free time, I enjoy choral singing, camping, long walks, attending live theater and musical events, and enjoying delicious local food.
Lovely. Lovely. Now, I would suggest to both you and Amanda, if you're open and willing to hearing this, that when you're out and about, as you are doing what you're doing and describing it, I would shorten it.
Right,
to
it's
be
so
very-
long.
Yeah, to be very succinct, because otherwise you lose people, right?
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm a chief igniter, or I say I'm the chief igniter and CEO of the Lit Up Life. And then people are like, what's the Lit Up Life, right? And then
Yeah.
also I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money, like a very succinct sentence. So because they call it the elevator pitch, because
Right.
elevators, you have like 30 seconds, right? So like in that 30 seconds, what would you say? And 30 seconds actually lasts a long time, but yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin. And so those of you that are joining, we're introducing ourselves and then saying one thing that you are proud of yourself over the last 30 days. So what are you proud of yourself for, Caitlin?
I am proud of myself for getting my photos downloaded, and
Nice. Yes. And
that's it.
thank you for that reminder, because I want to, well, first of all, is this recording? Yes. Because I wanted to ask you all to please go out and make sure you have downloaded your photos, because after the first of the year, we will be taking them off of the Google Drive, because if you don't know, the high res photos take a ton of space. And so we're going to need to free up some space on my Google Drive. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Yeah. So I downloaded them and I picked one to use as my profile picture.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Pass it on to someone.
Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
You're muted.
Yep. You're on mute.
Mute. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I just got on. I was hoping to hear another one or two. So we're introing ourselves with a 30-second elevator speech, or what we do. Is that
What
right?
you do. Yep. And I put it in the chat too. So what you do, and then one thing you're proud of yourself over the last 30 days for.
Okay. So my name is Jenna Minervini, and I am a psychotherapist in private practice with a holistic mind-body transformation processing. I also teach mindfulness meditation, which I think is a foundation for life. So one of the things that I'm proud about is I got all my printing done for my new office, so I took care of that beforehand. So that's awesome. And I'm just systematically going through everything for my office move. and getting to throw stuff out, which has been
And are
hard.
you in your new office or are you?
No, next week.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was this weekend, but
Yeah,
okay.
no, next weekend. No.
Awesome.
This
Awesome.
weekend I'm trying to get rid of some books that I have.
Okay,
that
I
I'm
know
not
I'm
gonna
making a
use.
trip to the library to donate some too, so
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Pass it on. And for those of you just joining, welcome. We are introducing yourself with your 30-second elevator pitch, what you do, and then what you're proud of yourself over the last 30 days for. So Jenna, pass it on.
Okay.
Amanda's gone and so is Caitlin.
Okay. Caitlin and Amanda have gone. Okay, so how about Kemi?
Hi.
Hi, Cami.
I've kind of avoided Zoom somehow through the pandemic, so I don't like seeing my face. Is maybe something to work for. Is there a way to like not see my face when I do this?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna try and pin you, Debbie. Okay. So my name's Cami. I just was jotting this down right now. I'm working to take my first children's book titled September 1st to publication. I have been working in real estate since 2006, and I recently moved to Sandpoint with my family to play in the snow in the winter and the melted snow in the summer. And then let's see here. In the last 30 days, I've taken steps to basically do like a CRM, which I've never done, and navigated some new and interesting emotional stuff. And it hasn't always been pretty, but it's been authentic, and we've come out the other side of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, pass it on.
Now I don't know how to find people. Hang on.
Okay, so we've got Tara, we've got Marilee, Marcia, and Krista.
Let's do Marilee.
Okay. Hey, Marilee.
Hi, everybody. I'm driving, so, gosh, I am so delighted to see and hear from all of you ladies. Before I introduce myself, I just want to let you know you made an impact on me, and you're also talented, and you're also beautiful, and this is lovely to get back together. So thank you for having this together, Debbie. So hi, I'm Marilee Wallace. I am the creative visionary behind NIA, Women of Impact. I started out as just going with the North Idaho Alliance, not really knowing what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to put on programs that inspired women and just connected people. And it turned into much more than just a little networking connection thing. It actually turned into producing really high quality programs and events like a women's conference, a roundtable tuition-based program, and some networking events that are pretty powerful and inspiring, and people seem to dig it. So I'm excited about 2025. In my last 30 days, I have finally laid out the 2025 events that I'm going to be putting on, and so excited to create a new event called WOW, Words of Wisdom from Wise Women, where I've sought out 5 really remarkable elders, 70 and up, my oldest being 95. They're going to be on stage here in March, which is Women's History Month, and I'm marketing it to the region for a women's night to gather at the theater holding 400 seats, listening to women who are going to tell us what the shit life's about.
Cool.
And I'm getting really good responses. And so I've done a new ticketing system. I've done some new marketing. I'm updating my website. And I'm going to be working with Debbie next week on honing in some other things. So that's what I've been doing for 30 days.
Great. Thank you, Marilee. Pass it on.
Yeah.
You've got Tara, Marcia, and Krista.
Krista, you're up.
Hey, Krista.
Hi guys, how are y'all? Nice to see everyone. My elevator pitch is I preserve families and protect assets while making sure you don't get screwed over by your ex. We do family law. So that's it.
What are you proud
I
of over the last 30 days?
I am gonna have to jump off at 3. It's been crazy here. We had to let go of my paralegal today, at about, a couple hours ago. And as she left, she told us to all go fuck ourselves. And she did not save the document she was working on for me. She said I could fucking figure it out myself. So we were kind of in,
Oh.
getting things done mode, but I wanted to try to get on. But no, things are going well. They're still going
What are you
well.
the
We're
most proud
still
of yourself for?
I'm most proud of myself for not freaking out when our revenue is not where it needs to be right now. I am freaking out, but I'm not. So I'm just chugging along and I'm looking at ways to correct that right now. I am reaching out to everyone that owes us money, and I am just trying to do that. I'm being grateful. We got a $50 payment in today, and I made the comment of, but it was only 51. Nope, never mind. Nope, I'm grateful for the $50 payment. I'm grateful for
Right.
the $50 payment. So I'm having my money stories redone.
Good.
So
Cleaning up some
yeah.
money energy.
And I'm
there.
also proud that that I am just, trying to look at my goals and like really look at what goals I made and to see how we can make those happen instead of just like, oh, these are goals I made, then never look at them again.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Pass it on. You got Tara and Marcia.
Oh, I'm gonna go to Tara.
Hey, Tara. Oh, you're on mute. I don't think I can unmute you. I can ask you to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So my name is Tara Schneider. I am the spa traveler. I help people regenerate and restore their fascia and physical health through fascia blasting and health coaching. That's it. I am proud of getting my DBA paperwork notarized and done and sent back in. And then I've made a decision on who I'll be working with to do my rebranding.
Nice. I heard that conversation went well.
Yes, it did.
Good. And it wasn't the cost that the other person was putting out for you, which was really nice. Good.
Yeah. So that's good.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Marcia, bring us home, girl. Are you in your studio? Uh-oh. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I'm in my studio.
I love the dog pictures above you.
Yeah, families and dogs. And actually just did another family and dog. Oh, I'm a photographer. And I love getting images for people, whether it's through increasing their visibility with their businesses, using for business marketing purposes, or families, or you name it, photography that makes people's hearts full.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just shot another family with a dog portrait session just the other day that was really fun, and I'm in the middle of editing that right now.
Nice.
I'm proud that I approached a person in town who's working on a project that's important to me about women's reproductive health and the rights that go with that, and I'm looking to collaborate a little bit and put a project out there. So it's more of a personal project, but I find I need to do those to keep myself engaged in the love of the photography that I have.
Cool. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Okay, look at all this stuff that's been happening. I love it. Jenna, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so when I came on, I had just struggled to get on, and then here I was. But so I just want to say what I'm like even more proud of for the last 30 days. And that was that I gave a talk the other night for the Tree of Memorial Light. And I was the keynote speaker, and it was awesome. And it was good. I felt like, like I really am like expert in this field, and with heart, and what I had to say to the grieving people worked well. And I used a new technology. I used ChatGPT to helped me to craft the speech, and it like worked great. And I just made it my own and put in a couple of stories, personal story. And so, yeah, so that's way better than getting my Vistaprint order in. So thanks.
You bet. You bet.
My brain went kind of blank right when I was doing mine, what I'm proud of myself for. And I put one of them in the chat. I'm creating a group Facebook page, Thriving Wellness Collective. And I bought a freeze dryer for my berry season, and I want to freeze dry more than just berries, but that was the huge reason why I got it. So I'm super excited to use it
Cool.
to expand my business.
I love it. I love the fact that you all are like, I've got more. That's so awesome. So I will say I am super proud because I know I have a couple of books in me, and I was on the phone a couple days ago with a colleague from Gonzaga that was also a client in the mastermind last year. And we were just catching up. And I love her, and she's going to join in 2026, but they're in huge business expansion right now. And she's like, Debbie, I'm going to be flying back and forth to Florida so many times I can't do anything else right now. And we were talking, and she gave me an idea. So I'm going to tell you briefly about this, but then you'll have to buy the book when I do it and act like you don't know. But I've been wanting to write this book about being married to 7 men, but 1 man. But I've been a little protective about my son reading some of the shit about his father. And so she's like, no, this needs to be a fiction book, and you need to write it about 7 different men and the relationships that each man that has a different name has with their wife or girlfriend. And then at the end, you tie it all together so that the reader figures out it's 1 man. I thought, oh, and that excites me. So I've been kind of like, oh, I know this book's going to happen, but that excited me. So Carmen, good to see you. So we are introducing ourselves and saying one thing that we are proud of ourselves over the last 30 days. And you are the last one. So if you could maybe be on the spot and say something, then we're going to do a little bit of work.
Okay, hello. Well, I'm proud of how I've improved on some of my office organization since the class, and kind of working a little bit more efficiently. I feel most days like I have a little better handle on things than I did.
Awesome. Perfect, Carmen. Thank you. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I just want to open it up to ask you. I kind of wrote down, I have all your pictures, but I kind of wrote down what people had down for their 30-day goals. I don't know if you have those handy by chance, your goal sheets that you had for 30, 60, and 90 days. But if you didn't, that's okay. I can kind of remind you. And some of you had the categories, others of you just put more task type of lists. And I will say to you too, one of the things that I'm really digging into is this idea of juicy goals. And as you're looking at 2025, keep in mind that a goal, if you want to stop something or lose something, that is not a goal, that's a task. And it can be a byproduct of something, but having something juicy for yourself is important. And they're not always the long-term 80-year-old free pass, right? Like sometimes it's in this next year, it might be juicy for you to walk 4 or 5Ks or something, whatever it is for you that's juicy, that then maybe attributes to your health. And then, so like when I look at the ski pass, that hits many different categories for me, because if I want to be 80 and still skiing 3 to 5 runs, financially, I need to have the financial means to buy a pass every year to continue to ski, and my equipment, and the financial means, hopefully, to take care of my grandsons, which I just rented his little skis, and they're the cutest things ever. And my son a pass, right? So that I can keep up on that. So that's part of the financial piece of it. When I think about health, there's a big piece in the health arena there. There's a big piece in my vocation, because being an entrepreneur, I can choose to ski Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it breaks it down then into some smaller goals that you can set for a year or 30, 60, 90 days. So what I wanted to know is when you think about the goals that you created at that event, and it's really important. I just actually recorded the podcast that's going to drop on the 17th about this too, about not beating yourself up. Because I hate when people say, oh, you have to fail to be successful. I don't believe that. Like, to me, nothing's really a failure. If I believe that everything, like for me, it's God. If I believe the universe or God, is always for me, then it's more about what am I learning from this? It doesn't mean things won't be hard, right? And that we're not faced with obstacles, but what am I learning from this? So when you think about where you're at on these 30-day goals, how's it going? You feel like you're making progress, and it's okay if you didn't achieve some of them. That's where it's like, don't beat yourself up, right? Have some grace for yourself. But I want to hear from you. How's the target? And if not, I'm going to split you into small groups.
I forgot to look at the target.
That's okay. You had,
I found it. Yeah, I have it now, but because I didn't reference it.
Yeah.
Some of
And
it, yeah, some of it stuck, like it was like, and so maybe I'm almost going, was some of this kind of me giving myself lip service of what I want to do, and really it's kind of a pipe dream. But there's certain things like that I did do that are on here, even though I forgot that I wrote these down and to actually use it as, like a map. So that's my observation, but I'm gonna review it with my husband actually, just as kind of like an accountability later too, just to like stay in the conversation and get him involved in parts of it.
Yeah. And Cami, I'm going to riff just a little bit on what you're saying, because the cool thing about doing this, and you notice I didn't say put these things up right in front of your face when you leave, right? Because the cool thing about this is you did remember it, but you remembered it subconsciously.
Totally. Yeah.
And those things that felt juicy to you, you started to do. Now, the question then becomes those things that you didn't do. And I'm going to use you as an example, right? Like, I think since I've been 14, I've said lose 20 to 40 pounds. Right. Like the amount has changed throughout time, but that has been on there. And I probably lost and gained the same 40 pounds over and over, like over a course of so many years. But the point being is that's not juicy. And that's not really a goal. It's a task to achieving something else. And until we kind of scrape away what that other thing is, then it feels like work, right? Which is the task. Versus you really had some motivation around getting the CRM up with database emails was part of what I just kind of took brief notes here, and going to, I think it was a 5-day intensive, like some of those things stuck with you because they hooked you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I would recommend to all of you, like, as you're looking at your goals, if there is something that you hadn't touched, you completely like put your head in the sand about it, or just even resisted and you notice the resistance. If you didn't do it, there is some resistance. And then all it's asking is, oh, isn't this interesting? What about that isn't happening? Oh, well, that lose 10 pounds isn't juicy for me because I haven't attached it to something that makes me feel a certain way, or that is attached to something that helps me motivate and change the behavior. Does that make sense to everybody? And it's a process, to kind of get to that. Again, we're not getting to the heart of the onion, because I think whoever said that lied, because I don't think there's ever like the center of the onion that we come to. I think it's just layers, right, that we continue to peel off. Yeah, and nuances. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that observation, because it does stick in your subconscious, and that's the beauty of neuroscience. Yeah. Anybody else have some awarenesses as they looked at their 30-day goals? And it might even have been, oh, I haven't looked at them in 30 days, which is fine. Tara,
that's me. That's me. But pulling it out, I'm like, you know what? All 3 of them I absolutely remembered, or were things that were in the front of my mind. My finances, I am just under $500 close in the massage one, and I was gone for most of a week traveling. So that's really cool. And then the house one, yes, I did reach out to Teresa, and yeah, we communicated with that. So I did that, and then going to church, I did that in the beginning of the month. But yeah, it's still, when I looked at it, it's like, yeah, it's stuff I've been doing all month.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Amanda. What about you, Taro? You had something you were going to say. You're on mute though. I can't hear what you're saying.
Sorry, I'm just having trouble trying to figure out how to unmute sometimes. Okay, well, it looks like I did it into 3 categories, and in 2 of the categories, I did 3 out of 4 of my goals I met. And the one under health, amazingly, I really didn't do anything on there, so it probably wasn't juicy enough. But I'm jazzed that I did not really look at this much to begin with, and that it just came about. So that's great.
Yeah. And then again, to that point is then you just have to look at and say, okay, those things that didn't happen or that I didn't start to work on or am working on, am I resisting something? And if you're resisting something, then that's one thing to think about. And the other is, okay, well, if the health piece of it wasn't as juicy for me, then what makes it juicy, or what tools can I use? Like, I'm going to be honest, for some reason, I was in like taking my vitamins every day, like I brush my teeth. And somehow through all this travel, I kind of got out of the habit of taking my vitamins. So a friend of mine shared this app with me, and it's called Everyday. It's here, and it shows like a graph. And I've had to take my vitamins in there every day so that I can check it off to show the green line that goes across just to get myself back into the habit, right, of taking. And I'm really mad because I was in a rush this morning because I thought I had a 9 o'clock meeting that I was running behind for, and I got to work and she canceled, and I didn't see it on my phone as canceled, and I forgot to take my vitamins. So I might be going home after this call to take them. But the point being is then, don't beat yourself up if you didn't, but then again, ask yourself, what's the why behind that, right? Like, what's happening with that? Any other awarenesses that people had?
Debbie, because I'm in the car, can you just read mine real quick? I don't need to comment, but I just want to hear them.
Yeah, so yours weren't necessarily in like categories, but you had work with Debbie on a VIP session, something about getting your database set up, working with Meredith on marketing and spiritual clarity.
Oh yeah, spiritual clarity. I'm there.
Yeah,
I've got it figured out. Okay.
So it sounds like for the most part, and if it didn't, that's okay too. Let me know and we can do a little coaching if you want to. But it sounds like for the most part, many of you, the things that you wrote down for 30 days, a lot of them are happening.
I think so. Yeah. I'll revisit it when I get back into get back home to my home office and look at them. But I'll look at the little happy things coming up on screen.
Right? Like, celebrate those wins. I was just talking on the podcast recording about many times we go into judgment about celebration where it's got to be this big thing, right? Like, I cured cancer. Like, it's got to be that big for me to celebrate. When in fact, sometimes just getting yourself up out of bed when you wake up is a win, right?
Pulling yourself out of a bad mood. I mean, I did that today. I was in a bad mood. I'm like, what the hell am I doing to myself?
Yeah. My verbal, Debbie, you need an attitude adjustment. And I'll call people and say, I need an intervention. Like, I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't call. There was this Aussie doodle that was for sale. And I'm like, I don't want to spend $2,400 on a dog. And I don't want to stick my hand in a plastic bag and pick up hot dog shit. It just won't work for me. So it was a really good reminder that I don't want a pet. Right. So anyway, so as you look at these goals, now I want you to take a look at, if you have your sheet in front of you, your 60-day goals. What were those things that now a month from now that you were hoping to achieve? And it's a slippery slope, because when I say achieve, many times we take achievement and put an equal sign to love. If I achieve this, then I'll be loved. right? If I get good grades, I'm recognized. Therefore, that means I'm loved. So as you look at this, it's important to also look at who do you want to be while you're doing this? Right? So if a 60-day goal, and I'm just going to pull one up here to look at quickly. If a 60-day goal is to have all of your numbers squared away for the IRS and for life, or for an IRA and life insurance. Gotta find you guys again. Then as I'm looking at that 60-day goal, then it reminds me, because I'm reading it, and really that's probably a task, right? So like getting all of your numbers together to set up an IRA or to get ready for year-end taxes, that's a task. That's action. And when you think about the action, now I want you to think about the feminine. What's the true desire in wanting to do that task? What might be the desire? Let's just play a game here. And you can all go off mute unless you have a bunch of noise behind you.
Well, Mike, I have a question about kind of distinguishing, since you're discussing the task versus a goal, because I think we have a tendency sometimes to put tasks on there, and it's actually just pointing to something different. It's bigger, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say this, we have been taught in our country that goals are tasks, right? New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I want to learn to speak Spanish. I want to, like sometimes that can be a goal too. Like if I want to learn to speak Spanish, then I'm going to do some tasks to get to that goal. But if I want to read 2 books or have, I don't know what this really means, Carmen, but 20 bell sheets entered, 3 cases, and be clear on my numbers. Some of that might be a goal, because if you wanted to have 3 cases, that could be a goal. And then the question becomes, what does it take to get 3 cases?
Right. I can see that.
But to get clear on your numbers is probably a task. And what's the real reason you want to get clear on your numbers?
For me, that has to do with security, that, but also just to get it out of my brain, just to know it's taken care of. And I've definitely been working on that. I'm almost done. I got something that I got emailed about today that I got to get, but
which then is the motivation for you to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. And I heard some security in there, right? It could be about making decisions. So Carmen, you have that too, getting clear on your numbers. What for you is the reason why you want to get clear on your numbers?
For feedback, either I'm doing much better than I perceive, or there's things you need to do and focus on to get those numbers up. So it's actually looking at it and then being able to respond to it whichever way it goes. Right.
Yeah. So getting a
if
really,
I'm doing better than I thought, then I'm like, hey,
yeah. Yeah. And so to me, what I hear you say is that it's to get a really clear picture of where your business is financially. And why is that important to you?
It's important to me because I want to be successful for me. I'm also the breadwinner. I also have financial goals and things that I want to do and if I don't have the money, those financial things don't get done, or I can't do what I want to do.
Okay. So give me one thing that you want to do.
I want to schedule another vacation.
Okay. So the goal is to schedule a fun vacation. And I might be even hearing in there that you don't have to worry so much about money to make it happen.
Right.
That's the goal. The task is getting your arms around your finances, putting a budget together, understanding what's happening with your numbers that then help you make decisions that allow you then to bring in more cash flow to then have the vacation. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
see
it's
the
very opposite of what we've been
progress.
trained. I'm sorry, Carmen, go ahead.
You said it's opposite of what we've been trained.
Yeah, we've been trained to make goals as checklists, right? These are checklists of stuff to
Yeah.
get done, and we're going to cross off the list that we completed it. Hence, we've accomplished something, so we feel valuable, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I make lists, and even when I do something, I'll write it on the list to cross it off, right? Because I like the crossing it off the list, and it's a good reminder when I reflect of all the things that I have done, right? But it is a slippery slope because you get into that, oh, I'm achieving things. And sometimes we get into this busyness, and busy doesn't always mean that we're moving closer to our goal. So the goal actually then for Carmen is she wants to take this killer vacation. And she knows and has in her mind a number that would make her feel comfortable to say, this is approximately the budget for this vacation. And in order to do that, she needs to have an understanding of where her numbers are. Right. So the question is, what would it take to go on that vacation? Understanding my numbers, putting a budget together, saving money every month, whatever. Right. Do you see where I'm going with this between the task and the goal? Yes, no, maybe. Give me some feedback. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
What I'm thinking of as I'm listening to you is how, we started with that wheel that had all the areas of our lives, and then we chose 3 things, and then we kind of went through, creating a goal. And then my 30, 60, 90 was definitely like I just wrote the tasks that go with each goal. And so I think, like, just to boil this down, I'm gonna write the goal itself, like the juicy goal, down on the same paper so that I don't lose sight of, like, why, I'm gonna do these tasks to what end.
Caitlin, thank you. I couldn't have paid you better to say that. Because that's how you tie it together. As you write the goal, and you might go back and wordsmith your goal a little bit to make it juicier for you. And that's where Simon Sinek says, ask yourself why 5 times. Well, I say ask yourself why until you get to the true juice. You get to the juiciness of the goal. Because I did that with Carmen, right? I said, okay, so why is it important to you to know your numbers? Well, because I have things I want to do, right? Well, that's pretty nebulous. So what are those things, right? Why is that important to you? So just keep asking yourself the question, why? And sometimes we say the statement, and that's where I was talking about with the pass, for a long time, I said I wanted to be active with my grandchildren. Well, it's important to me, don't get me wrong, but that's not sparking me to get my butt up out of bed and work out. Right? That's not changing my behavior much. Now it might after I take Carter skiing and realize how out of shape I've been. But the point being is that, like, just keep asking that why and digging through those layers to get to that thing that then motivates you or changes you. Now, sometimes, you guys, I'm going to use health as another example. Sometimes it's signing up for some big race, or it's you've got a trip. I was talking to somebody the other day about that didn't go to the October retreat, and she was talking about health as a goal. And I said, okay, if you need a shorter goal, what do you want to look and feel like when you go to the Dominican Republic in the mastermind? What do you want to look and feel like when you get your portrait taken? And she's like, yeah, I can hang on to that, and that will motivate me. Right now, it's not that you end up having to come up with all these little things to motivate you, but you may have to do a little bit of that until some of that becomes part of your lifestyle. When I did these 60-mile walks, I got into the habit of walking 3 to 5 miles every day. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I walked about 10 miles each day. And I just got into that habit, and it became a part of my lifestyle. And I did that for probably 8 or 9 years. And then I moved to Sandpoint and was introduced to Juanita's crack chips, these corn chips, and wine. Sorry. And then that changed a few things. But, and sometimes we have shifts in our lives, like moves or these things that pop us out of our routine. I was talking to somebody else the other day too, and they're like, well, when I travel and, we go out to eat and I'm like, well, isn't that just part of life? Right? So you either want that enough that you look at you doing something different as just that's a part of your life, or you don't. And it's okay if you choose not to. So does everybody feel like what they wrote as the tasks on the 30, 60, 90 day, that is attached to a juicy enough goal for you that we worked on while we were there? Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing some of you say no, some of you saying yes. And if not, the beautiful thing about this is you can go back and kind of think about what that is. And if you hadn't signed up yet for your free consult, please make sure you do, and we can talk through that. I think, Caitlin, I'm seeing you later this month or sometime in January. I think.
Yeah, on the 16th. So I'm thinking about like my goal about my physical health. My big motivator is just that I recognize that my health allows me to do all the other things that I want to do. And that when I'm not taking care of my health, I am virtually like disabled by that, right? Like it literally enables me to be in the world, like this body, right? This corporeal self. But that's it's even though it's really powerful for me day to day, it's not like the reward. It's not like so I also have to do like these I also do these little tricks to kind of motivate myself in the day to day. Like if I go walking, I'll be able to see that view that I like, or if I, put on this music, I'll feel better about, cleaning my house or whatever it is. So it's like, even though I have this like larger, more meaningful thing, I am kind of bad at delayed gratification, or, day to day, I lose that, vision of the big picture. So
yeah,
I try these little hacks all the time.
I love your idea too of putting the bigger vision on your task list, that you made. And I would say too, break that down. Like, what are some of the things that you like to do that require you to be able to be physically healthy?
Yeah, like singing.
Yeah. So what happens when you're not physically healthy?
I get sick.
Okay. And what
And
happens?
I don't breathe well.
Okay.
And it hurts to stand for a long time, which are
Okay.
all involved in performing as a singer.
Yeah. So tap into that sometimes, because then even though you don't want to focus on what you don't want, but like focusing on and saying, oh, when I don't take care of myself, so I want to take care of myself, but you could potentially create a bit of a juicy goal, right? Like if you have a concert coming up or something, like, what do I need to do to take care of myself physically to make sure I'm at my best at this concert that's in January? Or you see where I'm going?
Yep.
Yeah. Because then the tricks help. I mean, I get it. My best friend and I used to meet on the corner in Kansas City at 5 a.m. in the morning. The only time we didn't was when wind chill was negative below zero and if there was ice. But I knew she was waiting on me, so that got me out of bed even when it was cold. Right? So some of those kinds of habits are also good to go. So let me ask you this, as I talk about habits, what are some habits that maybe you have identified that are stopping you from achieving what it is that you want to achieve, or that might need to change?
Are you asking me specifically or everybody?
Everybody, but if you have one that came to mind, share. Like I know for my health that hitting snooze for 30 minutes is not good, because then I fall back to sleep and then I feel more tired when I wake back up than if I just get up, right? So I've had to train myself, and sometimes I still do it. And so then I have to move my phone over to a different spot so it's not like super easily reachable, right? To be able to do that. When I want to sleep better at night, I don't drink any liquid after 8:30 at night, or I wake up at 3 a.m. and have to go to the restroom, right? Like there's things like that that I'm thinking about. What are some habits that potentially interrupt where you want to head? Anybody have some?
Well, a habit would be instead of when you get into work, instead of for me, if I would lay out what I need to do either the night before or that day, then I can get on and focus. Otherwise, let's go have coffee and let me talk to my coworkers, which is not a good habit and not productive, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Carmen. I'm giving away everything I just recorded for the podcast next Tuesday, but Harvard Business Review did a research study, and they found that when people took time, like 15 minutes every day at the end of the day, to reflect on their day, they actually were 23% more productive over time than other people. Yeah. Marcia, you had something. You came
Good
off.
point.
Uh-oh, you just went back on mute. I don't know. You must have hit something when your phone moved.
Maybe. I
There.
think just the habit of staying busy. Like, I mean, I write down, all the little things that are next on the list that need to get done, but I don't write down the stuff that isn't, it's like the squeaky wheel. So I'm always just kind of attending to the squeaky wheel, and then that rest of the stuff is in the background. But by the end of this, the oil in the wheel, I'm too tired to, launch into the, so I think I need to switch that a little bit. I mean, maybe those things aren't as pressing, and I can slice out time, make a new habit of, this is the time that I'm working on the back end stuff instead of all that front end stuff that's right in front of my nose.
Yeah, Marcia, that's a great awareness, right? In the fact that I've seen some recent things where, like, even my accountant, if I email, it sends an automatic reply that just says, please note that, I forget the exact verbiage. It was really creative and cute about how she's not checking email throughout the day, but she's only checking it first thing in the morning and at night. And so if she doesn't get back with me right away, that's why, but she'll be back with me in 48 hours, right? Like, an automatic. And I know, like, for me, I have to put do not disturb on this thing, or I get very reactionary, right, into the busy. So that's a great awareness, Marcia, of maybe looking at what are some of those upfront things, and can I block out just certain times during the day where I'm responding to those things or those people or those areas so that you can work on the business part of it. Yeah, good. Or the back end, front end that you say. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say both, carving out time for reflection, and then one of the things on my list is I want to have coffee with 10 people that I'm interested in starting new projects with. And of course, it's like you have to make room for those, right? And so you realize how overscheduled you are if it's that difficult to like schedule 10 coffee dates, right? So that's going to take me a little longer than I thought it was going to take me. But yeah, the being overscheduled thing is actually a barrier sometimes.
Yeah. And Caitlin, that's a really great observation. I know that is something, because time is my story, right? And so for me, it's about creating spaciousness in my day. Like today, I have to tell you, I was so excited. I had one meeting that got canceled this morning. Otherwise, this was the only meeting I have. And it feels like since the retreat, I have had really packed days because I had all that travel and stuff going on the weekends and on Fridays. And allowing some spaciousness, right? To go walk to the post office. It helps if I wear a coat instead of a vest, but to walk to the post office instead of driving, right? Or spaciousness to have coffee. One of the things that I used to do, and I'm getting back to in 2025, is blocking out 2 hours every morning, right? So whatever works for you on timing, because then I knew as I reached out to connect with people and I like to connect with a bunch of people all at once and contact them, then I was able to set up coffee dates Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I knew I had that time open for connection, right? Which sometimes people are like, well, why would you block out time for, like, that just seems like you're not being spontaneous. Well, sometimes when your schedule is full, you have to block out time to be spontaneous. And the baby step is you're going to be spontaneous on figuring out what you're going to do in that moment. You don't have to have it scheduled what you're going to do, but you have that time blocked out to create that spontaneity. Yeah, that's a great awareness, Caitlin. Yeah. One of my inspirations for next year is that I want to hang out with people that want to hang out with me and that are interesting and inspire. And I say that because sometimes it feels like my son doesn't want to hang out with me, right? So I'm like, but like that want to hang out with me that are inspiring and interesting, right? If someone's not inspiring, it's not that I'm going to cut them out of my life, but I can't tell you how many times I show up at things and people, this is me, right? It's my stuff. I show up and all of a sudden they're having conversations and wanting me to coach them on things about their business. Right. And so then I have to shut it down and say, I'm being social tonight. I'm not working. Right. But it's like, we've got to put ourselves into, I don't know where I was going with that. It just completely left my brain. Sorry. Any other thoughts?
Well, I think a lot of us,
Yeah.
Debbie, a lot of us do that. And especially when you're either with somebody that is a like profession or it's people that you have a professional relationship with, because lawyers are notorious. We really have to make a point to get away from talking about our cases and talking about that and actually act like people who do other things.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can relate. And then of course, you know, you have the people that like you that it crosses from being conversation into coach me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I met some people at the winery the other day and I had hot tea. And immediately this one gal's like, oh, I just started my coaching business and I'm doing X, Y, and Z. What do you think? And I'm like, hi. Right. Like,
Yeah.
okay. And it doesn't mean that people that aren't in your same profession and that you talk about your profession, that it's not interesting or inspiring, right? There's a difference
Right.
in that energy of the reciprocation kind of thing. But with all of that aside, I'm looking forward now to our 60-day follow-up call. So I don't remember when it is, so don't ask me, but it should be on your calendars and you'll get an email notice. I am putting 2 links, but you can also find these on my website. If you go to thelituplife.com, there's programs, other stuff, and then it says workshops. We are holding a vision board workshop virtually on January 14th. I want to say it's $50. And then if you bring a friend, it's, I don't remember, to be honest, my team takes care of all that. But that's the first link in the chat. The first link in the chat is for Saturday. If you have not signed up, I saw some of you had, and you want to attend the free sales workshop, please sign up for that. And it is interactive. So we ask for you to register so that we can give you a Zoom link. And then the second one is for the vision board. If you want to join us, it is virtual. You'll bring your own supplies and it's 3 hours. And by the end of the 3 hours, you will have a vision board for 2025. It's a little bit different. You know, it's not that we're going to, well, if you choose to do it this way, that's fine too. But I do a meditation that I do in my foresight and strategy class about your emerging future and your secondary emerging future. And then invite you to create your collage based on that emerging future. And then if you're like me, I go off and do another one that has more of the object things on it, right? Like the hot air balloon and some of that kind of stuff. So feel free to join us on either one of those nights. Perfect. Thank you, Cami. January 9th, 12:30 to 1:30 for our next Zoom, Pacific Standard Time. It is the same Zoom link. And it is in the meeting notice on the Google meeting notice that came out. So take a look at that. If you don't have the link, it's best to reach out to me before the call starts because then I'm not distracted.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, you betcha, guys. Have a fantastic Christmas holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate.
Thank you.
I'm going to be traveling for like over 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I'm taking a bunch of time off. So I'm going to Texas, spend time with my brothers and their kids, and then going to spend about a week with my mom. So
Oh, fun. Well, safe
it'll be
travel.
really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how long, it's been several years since I took time off at Christmas.
Caitlin, that's great. Have a great time. Okay.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.